thought the main message that I wanted to give in my speech today was, everybody picked it up. I suppose the costume might have been a little noise in the message, but the message is really simply this, that there is a constant in the Mount Royal equation, and we can change all the other parts of the equation, the buildings, the people, the programs, change whatever we want, and we've obviously changed a lot in 100 years. But that constant is Mount Royal's focus on students and focus on student success. And I think that was my major message today. So what we're celebrating today is 100 years of student success. And what we're celebrating today is the hope for another 100 years of students going out into the world and making it a better place for all of us to live in.
A year or two, we were up to the lofty number of 15 faculty by 1915. Today, we have close to 400 faculty dedicated to working with our students. And of course, then there's the presidential salary. My salary in 1910 was $800. Well, we'll just leave Dr. Marshall's out of this. Well, I can tell you, I am so impressed with where Mount Royal has gone over the last 100 years. But I'd like to give you a couple of quotes. So here's a couple of quotes. Mount Royal is a human institution. The human element is everywhere. The pulse of the world beats out from a great common heart. We have Saxon and Celt and Nordic and Gaul and Slav with all their racial and human characteristics. They are here needing human sympathy and encouragement and counsel and direction, and guidance, and fellowship. Many of them are filled with the Ulyssean yearning to follow knowledge like a sinking star beyond the utmost of human thought. And I'll give you another quote. Okay, so you're a university now. Well, that is a wonderful and long overdue thing. After all, back in 1931, Mount Royal was the first to deliver university courses in Congress. But in the midst of all of this momentous change, it might be appropriate to think about what you don't want to change. To think about what constant in the equation has brought Mount Royal to this day after almost 100 years. Well, the first is from one of my speeches, 1926 actually. And the second one is from one of Dr. Marshall's. Now, mine is clearly more eloquent. Marshall never went to the Methodist school for pulpit poignancy, so we'll forgive him for that. But what is evident is that there's clearly one thing that has not changed in the last 100 years. So while it's tempting for us to celebrate wonderful successes, to celebrate the facilities that we're in, the degrees that we're offering, to celebrate the exceptional faculty and the incredibly dedicated staff, and of course to celebrate even the name change. This is a year where we need to celebrate the successes and the hopes of 75,000 students who have experienced Mount Royal over the last 100 years, and probably another 200,000 that will experience Mount Royal over the next 100 years.
Mount Royal will have to resist the pressure to try and meet the norms of every kind of university in the country. It's going to set some of its own norms. It is an institution that said we're a university, we're scholarly informed, but we're primarily here for students, and instruction is our primary focus. So that's what we're going to do. The challenge, as I said in the speech today, will be Mount Royal resisting all of the distractions and the pressures that might push it off that agenda.
So my name is Robert Jones. I'm going into my 6th year of study at Mount Royal, specializing in policy, and I am the current president of the Students Association here at Mount Royal University this year.
Robert, could you share some of your thoughts on Dr. Marshall's presentation there today?
It was charming. I thought it really represented the community and the charm that is here at Mount Royal. Having Dr. Marshall come out as George Kerby, I thought was a really nice fit, and it really kind of blended all of the synthesis of ideas out there, what's made us work in the past, what's making us work right now, and where we're going in So it was a great delivery.
There were a couple of tough questions for him at the end there. One about the next president, and one about possibly the biggest mistake Mount Royal can make moving forward. You know, as president of SAMRU, what are some of your thoughts on those two questions that he was asked?
I think he answered them quite well. I think the biggest pressure that would really hurt Mount Royal students is definitely the distractions that George Kerby or Dr. Marshall pointed out, political distractions to have more research done at Mount Royal, which takes away from the student experience in the classroom, and all of those types of drifts that can occur, and to keep the nucleus as a student-focused institution. So I completely agree. I think Mount Royal has been doing the right thing and it's continuing to go on the right path.
Well, you know, having history gives you confidence that you're on the right path. So, I mean, you can. I mean, there's an old story about if you want to know where you're going, the best method is to imagine rowing a boat along the shore of an island or along the shore of someplace. And you only know where to go by watching the shoreline behind you. And I think that's so true with an institution like this. You know, we're rowing ahead, but we know where to go in our future because we're watching the shoreline behind us.
So I'm very pleased to introduce Ruben Nelson. He's a wonderful gentleman. He's a futurist. He's very interesting talking about where we're going after reflection on 100 years. He's part of our Legacy of Ideas series for the Centennial. And he's also Mount Royal alumni and was valedictorian at his time here. Take it away.
Ruben, what did you think of Dr. Marshall's presentation today?
Well, I enjoyed it immensely. I know in my own life the commitment of Mount Royal historically to students. I knew that in the 50s when I did high school here and knew the university when it was still Mount Royal College as part of the United Church. But it was clear then that it had a commitment to students that was exceptional. That continues and is one of the things that marks the place. And I was delighted to see George Kerby, aka Dr. Marshall, give that accent that Mount Royal is committed to the interior life of its students today, and that still matters.
With Mount Royal hitting this landmark, following up officially being named a university, as well a new incoming president next year sometime, could you just share some of your thoughts briefly on, you know, what you think might be wise for Mount Royal moving forward?
My sense is that Mount Royal should invest some time. This is not something they should do quickly and easily. Invest some time in thinking about what would be as brave for Mount Royal College to do in its second 100 years as the formation of Mount Royal College was in its first 100. If you think of Calgary in 1910, it was this rinky-dink, dusty place, wooden sidewalks. I mean, it was then what Toronto still thinks we are. And to create a place that was as brave as it was, with a conservatory of music, for example, it was hugely heroic. And I would love to see Mount Royal give serious thought to what would be equally heroic in the 21st century and not just fall into the normal trap of becoming a better and better university in that normal university mold. I think it's time to reinvent the sucker, and I think Mount Royal may be up to that job.